Alright everybody, welcome back to Skyway Classics YouTube channel. We're now moving it up from the classics to the more sportier vehicles. Our 2008 Ford Mustang Shelby GT. Of course you can see this is not just any kind of car you'd let your teenager drive, but more of a man's machine, maybe even a woman's machine if you know what to do with it. Of course, the one we have here featuring a very nice blue exterior. As you do see, it does have the silver stripes coming along the front, having a very, very mean performance look. Even by the sound of the walk-around video, you know that this is not a car you just play around with. Having the appropriate Mustang style wheels. Of course, on a lot of these old newer cars, people don't know how to drive when they get swiped on the sidewalks, they get poorly disrespected. But of course, this one's been definitely taken well care of. In fact, even the meat on the tires are still there, well, at least for now, until you decide to make a purchase. As we move on to the inside, you can see we do have a very nice 5-speed manual. Of course, if you know how to drive a manual, God bless you. If not, you really need to learn fast. As you can see along the cluster here, everything is in mint condition. Our mileage reading 65,000 miles from the odometer, which is very nice, especially with this kind of cars. People like to park them in their garage, sometimes take them to shows. Even across the dash, you can see the casting number there. As well in the pictures, you will see a nice sheet that certifies the vehicle as it is. As well, for the rest of the interior is in very good shape. We have automatic windows, automatic locks. The back seats are in good condition. Everything is working as it should. You even have the old school radio. I'm surprised they haven't modified that yet into a nice little CarPlay stereo, but of course you get what you pay for. Having some very nice blowing cold AC. Of course, now being this time of year, you do not need AC, but of course it's nice to know that it works in the meantime for the nice summer occasion. But anyway, moving on to the engine bay, you can see it is a beast, as I said before. Very well built, very well taken care of. In fact, now that we have no traffic in our mix, we can open up a little bit. Of course, I hope that my bosses don't watch this video, but of course you want to know what you're driving. We're not going to really get on it, but of course give you an idea. And even with the windows up, you can hear the sound of the motor from inside the car. Of course, I'm going to keep quiet for a second here. As you can see, the wheel is not shaking back and forth. I'm hitting the brakes now a little bit. Of course, being disc brakes, it's a lot safer than the old school drum brakes. Of course, people were so scared of those back in the day. But of course, the way it handles is just amazing. Rolling right now at about 45 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour. Perfect cruising altitude, as you can see. In fact, they still have the numbers for the sticker up there. Of course, it faded off a little bit, but I know that this is one of the cars that people would love to take care of, as well as have in their personal collection. But as for now, though, we are just going to get it turned around up on the lift. So if you have a moment, folks, please stay tuned with us to see the underneath.